That's me being inconsistent, never finishing something. Everyone was telling me if you just stick to one thing, you would have been great, no matter what you would do. So the reason why I was so inconsistent all of my life was that if I started something new, I understood the concept quite fast, I got quite good at it, but as soon as I thought that I got a handle out of it, I just got bored and then switched to the next thing. Something along the line changed, because since then I've improved a lot. Currently I own 6 businesses while still working full-time. So that guy who couldn't pass a single class at high school was cooking now. And when I today talk to different people, I get quite often asked, how do you manage to stay so consistent all of the time? And from my point of view, there is no single answer for that. But the day I fixed all of these things, I did never slip again. In this video, I will explain to you exactly what you need to change to get your life back. The first thing that gets underestimated a lot by the people is to understand the bigger why. Did you know that one of the top reasons why young people quit nowadays their jobs very fast is because they don't feel fulfilled with the thing they do? It sounds a little bit funny to older people when you talk to them, because they will say, well, you get paid quite well, why would you quit? And they will start telling you some stories about their life, how they did not feel fulfilled in their life, but they did take a shot just because you have it better today. But my experience is, instead of judging people who have the guts to say, hey, this is not the job I want to do for the rest of my life, I need to switch up things, instead of making fun of those people, we should respect that. To be quite honest with you here, I experienced it myself. When I was working for Amazon during the COVID pandemic, I realized one thing very fast. Up until that point in my life, I put money over comfort and over values all the time. And before I joined Amazon in the COVID pandemic, I read quite a lot of stories about them. Back then I didn't make much out of it, because I thought it's better to not stay unemployed all the time. And as you may remember, Amazon had massive years during that COVID pandemic because everyone was at lockdown. But the first day at work, I noticed that I didn't want to work for that company. I have a habit I want to share with you. Every time I go into a new environment, I try to look in people's faces. I don't look at the people who are standing in the front. I especially try to identify who is hiding in the back, because those are usually the people who are doing their daily business. And just in a split second I could sense boredom, unhappiness, stress. Simply said, I saw people forgetting about their dreams just to make a buck. That day I went home and I promised to myself that I will not be dependent on that 9-to-5 system. Simply said, I couldn't even imagine retiring at 70 years of age and following this 9-to-5 system day by day. Just think of it, you are letting your dreams go in order to make a living, in order to survive, and when you turn 70, they will give you the freedom to decide whatever you want to do with your own life. And to be quite frank with you here, I do not want to disrespect any 70-year-old people, of course, but I do not believe that after working for so many years, the only freedom we really get should start at 70 years of age. I want it today. So that brings me to the second thing that's really important if we talk about consistency, and that goes hand in hand with the point before. It's about your health. Think of it like you're going on a road trip, right? And if your car breaks down just 1/4 of the road, then you have a problem. Especially if you didn't invest the time at the first place to take care of your car, to maintain it. In that case, you shouldn't even wonder if it stops working. So let me just say this. If we live in a world where we have to take care of our car because we want it to be reliable, then we have to take care of our bodies too. Why do you think people like Jeff Bezos transform like this? Look at it. He was first wide, out of shape, but now he has a good tan, he works out. Do you see the difference? I was big into sports between 4 and 17 years of age. I remember back to the time when I was signed up at different clubs. If it was swimming, soccer and so on, didn't matter to me. I was just pushing my body with cardio workout all the time. I didn't sign up for those clubs because I wanted to get in shape. I signed up because I had fun with it. But as soon as I finished high school and joined university, I stopped working out immediately. Basically because I was too busy to figure out life. I'm 34 at the moment, and it took me over 10 years to realize that I had to work out again. Unfortunately, but maybe that's your luck at the moment, my wake-up call wasn't a YouTube video. I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, and I have to deal with it for the rest of my life. Because the doctor had told me if I would have stayed working out and paying attention to my diet, then this autoimmune disease never possibly wouldn't be inflamed. So that's my biggest mistake and my biggest regret. If I could change one thing, this would be definitely it. So I just appeal to you, don't experience the same thing. Use this as a wake-up call and start working out and pay attention to your diet. Because at the end of the day, the life as an entrepreneur is very stressful and you need a good working body. The third thing I want to talk about is to not care what other people think about you. A recent study showed that the most common fear of people not even starting is because they have the fear that other people will make fun of them. To be quite honest with you here, I was probably more afraid to fail than everyone else. I believe that everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses that they have to struggle with in their life. But as someone who suffered anxiety issues, depression, panic attacks, I can just tell you that most of the time it's only in your head. I will just do a quick example so you can relate better. So one day I was doing a presentation at university, right? I was standing in front, and as I told you, I had anxiety issues, I had fear to fail, so I worked my ass off to do the most perfect presentation. So I was not working because I want to deliver a good result. I was working because I had the fear to fail. These are two different things. If your body navigates with fear, you will recognize every small detail. So whilst I was presenting and standing in the front, I saw people just talking to each other and laughing. The first thing that came to my mind was, they are laughing about me. Random questions just rushed to my head. Was it about my presentation? Was it about my looks? Did I pronounce something different? And it didn't matter if that really was the case because I couldn't really prove it in that moment. I had to focus at the task at hand. But if you are really paying attention to every detail, this will block you from success. Simply because you can't focus at the task at hand. For those who watch this channel frequently, they know that I don't like to read books that often, but this was one at a time which helped me a lot, and this book was about human psychology and the negative thought process. This book outlines that negative thoughts act as an amplifier, and every time your body is in stress mode and you recognize a thing, then suddenly your brain starts working really fast, connecting different things to each other. But if you would have the time to take 2 steps back and look at these things rationally, you can say that most of the times your brain is trying to sell you some things that aren't true. And the biggest problem about that is the more you think negatively, the more your brain will start connecting negative events to each other. Because in that split of seconds, your brain doesn't distinguish between right and wrong. It's all about survival. It thinks in terms of security. And the most important thing for me to break through of these negative thoughts was to first understand this concept. And second, I realized I needed circuit breaker thoughts. These are thoughts that I trained to pop in my mind, especially when those stressful situations occurred. For example, when people started laughing at my presentation, I would just think in that exact moment that those people are too dumb to even understand and listen to the presentation, and maybe they are laughing about their own dumbness. Well, although this may not be true in that very moment, it just gives me relaxing thoughts, because for every event, I trigger a counter event in my head. After I did this for a while, currently I'm in the situation that I can't ignore it, because I simply know that these events in my head, when they are connected together, that they are not true. These are just lie stories of your brain to just get you out of stressful situations. So if you ever feel you're not confident enough and feel like other people are making fun of you and judging you, then just know that you're not the problem. They are. The fourth thing I want to talk about goes hand in hand with that, and it's all about perfect paths. The perfect path simply doesn't exist. It's all about repeatable decisions. So I'm the first one in my family to ever get a degree. On the one side, I'm really proud of that, but on the other side, I know that I'm set up for failure. Because I'm walking today on paths that no one before I know ever explored. Other people, of course, explored the path. Maybe their grandfather or their father did have a small business and they had the possibility to grow that business into one bigger thing, and so on and so forth. I just believe if you really come from zero, that you will take a lot of losses until you get one win, maybe. So for me, it's just normal to fail. If I wouldn't fail, it would be really unusual. I didn't know much about starting a business. As a kid from an immigrant bloc in Germany, I did understand one thing: work hard and get paid. And the only thing that my parents told me was, hey, get at least a good degree so you have a respected and well-paying job, like a doctor or an engineer. And yes, I'm an engineer right now, but my path was far from perfect. When most people tell you that they had a perfect plan and they executed it and it worked exactly how they imagined, they're most of the time lying. Because if you really start from zero like I did, with no one else showing you what to do, it's normal that you fail. The most important thing when it comes to starting a business, growing a career, getting a degree, or whatever you want to do in life, you have to admit yourself one thing: that you are a newbie and it's normal for you to fail. You have to accept that. Compare it to playing a new video game. So you start playing it, but other players who play with you together are maybe much better. They exactly know how the gameplay is. So as a newbie, you have no idea how to play the game very well, and that's the reason why you lose. But the more you play the game, you experience the gameplay, you understand what works, you understand what doesn't work, you fail, but you adjust your strategy, right? And that's why I say the perfect paths to success don't exist. You can only repeat good decisions and avoid bad ones. But in order for you to understand which decision was good and which one was bad, you first have to take action. So my absolute recommendation is, whether it's a YouTube channel you want to start or you want to grow a business, first start with it and then iterate and optimize. Because at the end of the day, you can really plan your whole life how to start the perfect business. But I'm 1000% sure that you will be stuck with analysis paralysis. If you would have just started, you're already a step ahead from everyone else who are left thinking. The fifth and final thing I want to talk about is, if you have something in your mind, what needs to be done in your life, don't just pick out the ones you want to optimize, just go for everything at once. Let me do a quick example, because in this topic I literally have so much disagreements with friends of mine. I have a bunch of entrepreneur friends as well who are just saying, well, I will optimize one thing and then I will do the next thing. For me, this didn't work out ever, because from my point of view, if I have open tasks in my list, right, then I will start tackling everything at once. Not maybe in the same time, but maybe in the same week. This doesn't mean that I can't focus more on just one topic and do the other things in parallel. This just means that I do not want to leave out things that I need to do, and I know that today. Because in my mind, if I have, let's say, a list of 3 things like losing some weight, getting a degree, and learning a new language, for example, right? If I would say, let's lose the weight first before getting a degree, then get a degree and then learn a new language, I would just think in terms of project management sequentially, right? But from my point of view, what I really think is the key to success is if you do it everything in parallel. Probably you will not have the time to focus on everything at once, but if you just start learning that new language every Saturday, let's say, and you start working out to lose some weight, 2 times a week and getting a degree is 5 times a week, let's say, you started already your journey, right? Your full focus would be getting that degree. Plus, additionally, you would try to learn a new language. That way, you already started with all the topics that you want to achieve. That's how you can adjust your plan. Because once you start, you'll realize, well, I can't work out on a Thursday. Let me switch it to the Saturday. Oh, on Saturday, I was learning the new language. Let me switch that to a Monday or something like that. You'll get what I say. So my absolute recommendation for beginners is force yourself to start and stick to it. That's the most important thing, because the rest, how to optimize it, your brain will come up with a solution for that. You don't need to worry about that now. So at the end of the day, the more time you invest and the more effort you invest, it will be more difficult for you to slip because you're developing new habits, and that way you can stay consistent. From my point of view, the most difficult thing is just to start. And a good example for that is my YouTube channel over here. I'm doing YouTube for over 2 years. I don't make anything extra out of YouTube, but I do it because I have certain spots in my calendar that I planned for YouTube, and I know that consistency is key when creating content. Plus, it's like a small vacation for me, because my normal life is really stressful as a manager and owning 6 businesses on the side, and YouTube is just talking to the camera and just sharing with you my experiences in the real world and getting a knowledge transfer. The 5 things I shared with you in this video should act as a reminder and as a guidance for your journey to not slip again. If you have a struggle or need personal advice, let me know in the comment section down below or watch this video again. I'm sure it will help you. So thanks for watching, and I see you in the next one. Bye.